Yeah, we're live, and it's another Lock and Load broadcasting across the interwebs from Hawaii and Michigan and on gun channels. And going to talk about some crazy stuff happening in the world. I did show this on Edge's chat, I think, last week. But if any of your Mad Max fans stand by, hit the screen share button. This is important to talk about because it kind of shows like what the how bad things can get if the shit hits the fan. So let me see, get to that channel. Here it is. All right, so can you guys see this? Dusty? I hope you can see this. So I'm going to hit roll here. Can you see this, Dusty?
Yes.
So what you're seeing is a sugar truck, the sugar delivery truck being chased by a ton of mopeds, and they have Molotov cocktails, and they want the sugar. And they're basically firebombing the cab of the truck so they can steal the sugar. It's a kind of a Mad Max moped attack. And this happened just like a week or so ago in Venezuela. And so this is like what happens. What happened is the government, you know, they had a mandate. They seized all the, you know, shopping, all the food in the country, and they bought everything from the farmers, and they said we're going to buy like all your sugar, and we're going to tell you what the price is. You know, there's no free market. And so now that the government is in charge of the food, you know, people will have to wait like all day just to get a bowl of soup, you know, if they're lucky. And of course, they have to give fingerprints, have their government ID, and, you know, swear loyalty to Maduro or something just to get a damn bowl of soup. You know, so here they are stealing sugar after they firebomb the sugar truck, and this is pretty, you know, Mad Max kind of a thing. And I just thought it was something that would be interesting to talk about. You know, what happens when a society breaks down. And Venezuela has, you know, broken completely. There's a civil war going on, and if you I listened to Marco Rubio's House or Senate, the Senate subcommittee on, you know, South America and Venezuela. He was basically said that Trump is ready to deal with this, you know, and he said it's not a threat, but I talked to President Trump and he's ready to deal with this. And they also have about 15,000 Cuban paramilitary, you know, and irregulars that would have been there since Hugo Chavez was in charge to support the government. And now the military is the only thing keeping his successor, Maduro, in power. And obviously, they decided not to bomb that liquid natural gas truck. Is that what it is? And China is very, you know, pissed at Venezuela too, because they paid several $100 million for a lot of oil from Venezuela, and Venezuela can't deliver any of it because they put all their government stooges in charge of the oil companies, you know, and there's nobody left that actually knows how to run an oil company or work the machines, and so they can't produce any oil for China, and they already took like, you know, several $100 million, and that whole scene was just like, you know, look at the. That's almost straight out of Mad Max, you know. I mean, and they just have, you know, Molotov cocktails, and they firebomb the cab and steal the sugar because they don't have food. You know, the people don't have food, and this is shopping in Venezuela, you know. And you could, if you just look on any YouTube feed and type Venezuela, you'll see stuff like this or stories about people waiting in line, you know. And you know, just, you know, pause this, whether it's by BBC or whoever. There's just tons of Venezuela stuff out there, but Venezuela guard overruns protesters. So anyway, it's just crazy. So I have been watching Mad Max, Road Warrior, and Beyond Thunderdome. Oh, I forgot something. I had like a sound effect from there that on my cell phone. I have to go get my phone later and play it. But anyway, I did a ammo run and I picked up my wearable ammo. Turn on the camera for a minute. Got my shotgun bandolier, Remington ammo, so you can just, I think it's cool to be able to wear your ammo, you know, but it's basically, it's a 56 round bandolier, so I got a 100-round box of Remington buckshot. Yeah. If you're in West Hawaii and the Kona side, I would just tell you, you got about to the end of the year to buy ammo. Otherwise, it's quite possible you'll have to drive over to Hilo to buy ammo next year. That being said, so do your ammo runs this year. Sooner is better if you're in West Hawaii. Without going into details, that's all I'll say about it. So I picked up a box of, some pistol ammo and enough shotgun shells to get me through, you know, the apocalypse. Hopefully that won't happen. Let's see. So have you ever seen anything like that? As far as that, what did you think of that attack, Dusty?
It's terrible, but I mean, you can understand them doing that. When people are hungry, they're gonna fight to eat.
Yeah, and they're just like waiting in line, you know, all day for a bowl of soup, you know, and they have to give fingerprints, they have to have their ID, you know, and people aren't getting polite. And here's the other thing I picked up my last Walmart trip. Here's something else they cannot get in Venezuela. My other prop for the show. They can't get it in Venezuela. There's no toilet paper. There's no food, you know, and and it's just crazy, you know, and it's, you know, that used to be one of the 20 richest, one of the top 20 richest countries on the planet, Venezuela, you know, and you know, but they put, like the oil companies, they put all their government stooges in charge who don't know anything about how to run an oil company or even, you know, how to refine or pump oil, apparently, you know, so they're just government stooges, but they don't know, they can't actually pump the oil that China pays them several $100 million for. So China won't. The only people that'll have a problem if Trump invades Venezuela, sends in the army to, you know, restore order or something, some semblance of, because there's a civil war going on there right now. Although it's Cuba, probably. Russia seized, like, you know, one of their tankers full of oil because in lieu of payment on, I don't know, some deal. But it wouldn't be surprising if that was Cuban sugar from Cuba. But like I said, they have 15,000 Cuban troops there, paramilitary and otherwise, to keep the government in power. So, and it's basically just a military, you know, junta right now. And if they can't figure out a way to get food for the people, then I don't think they're going to last very long. And so it's a question of, if this government falls, who's going to take over, you know? And there's just a lot of videos on YouTube of, you know, angry Venezuelans speaking in Spanish, and I can only catch like a word or two of what they're actually saying, but because I'm not very fluent in speaking Spanish. But, you know, everybody's angry and they're all yelling, you know, at each other in Spanish. And I don't speak that much Spanish, you know, I just catch a word every now and then. But you can tell that people are pissed, and it's like they voted for, you know, Chavez, at least most of the people did, and you know, this is his handpicked successor, and it's just obviously not working out, and which is an understatement. And you just have to wonder what's going to happen when some of these, you know, stuff, when just stuff really starts going wrong. You know, is that going to spread to America? You know, can something like that happen in America? I mean, Venezuela wasn't like Ethiopia or something. I mean, it was one of the top 20 most wealthy countries in the world not too long ago, and how the mighty have fallen. So the hurricane has basically it nicked Maui, and it just basically, as it approached the islands, Hurricane Fernanda, it was downgraded into, basically, when I originally saw it, it was a Category 3 hurricane, then it was a Category 2, then it got downgraded to Category 1, and it basically veered north a little, and so it kind of mostly missed the island except for the east tip. And because we have a king tide situation, it did push a bunch of water towards the island, so there was some, flooding in low-lying areas that are, built like on the ocean or something on the east tip, on the east side, northeast side of the islands. But it mostly missed. I mean, it was some on the west side, we're on the far side from where the storm was, so it was just a little bit of wind, tiny bit of wind today. That's about it. But it did. There were some thunderstorms on Maui and the north shore of Oahu. It was raining all day today, apparently. But the other side of the island looked pretty fine. But it turned into after Category 1, it got downgraded to a tropical storm and then a tropical depression, and then now it's like the tropical low pressure trough, whatever that is, and I don't know what's under that, but there's two more on the way. There's like a tropical storm Greg, and there's something even way bigger behind it. I don't know if I have that link. Let me see. Find it. But hurricane season last year was pretty crazy. Oh, looks like we got Oily. Oily made it in.
Finally. Sorry.
Thanks for making it. Welcome.
I got the live notification. I was like, oh my gosh, it's Monday.
You didn't know what day it was until you got my email.
I have my phone set up, but it must have the silent button must have gotten flicked or something. I don't know. I was like, oh my gosh, he's going to be mad at me.
Have I ever been mad at you once?
I know, but I missed 2 weeks because we were getting ready to go on vacation, and I had to get to bed because we were leaving at getting up at 4:15 in the morning, and then the next time I was trying to recoup from it, and so I was like, I gotta be here this week.
Well, I'm glad you made it.
Well, I missed everyone. I'm sorry I hadn't been here the last couple of weeks, but I was like, I'm making it this week, by golly.
No matter what. Okay, so where was your vacation to again?
Red River, New Mexico.
All right.
It was gorgeous. It's in the Rocky Mountains.
Red River, like in the John Wayne movie?
I guess. I'm sure it is, because, the Red River, spans a long ways. Southern Oklahoma, Oklahoma, Texas line, all the way up over to the Rockies. So, anyway.
All right. Well, did you get any good pictures to share or anything?
I do have a bunch of pictures, but I don't have them on this computer. But right. I will be sharing. I'll be sharing over on Steemit. I'm
okay.
Working on some posts, so I'll share them and tag you in the post or something so you can see them. But yeah, it was gorgeous.
I haven't figured out the feeds completely there, and then how to tag things so they show up. And I don't know. I just put prepper underneath it on most of my posts. If they're about that. And
yeah. There's also a group called the Homestead Life over there. You can put THL as your very first tag, and then do your prepper tag next and all of that. And so when people look up THL, they see the Homestead Life. They have to approve you, but once they do, I mean, you don't have to be a homesteader to be a part of the group. Once they approve you, then they just they help support each other on there. Check each other's posts out and stuff.
Yeah,
so that's nice.
Did you see the post about the Steam B&B they're trying to start?
The Steam what?
Steam B&B. It's like Airbnb, except people get paid in Steam, so it's Steam B&B.
Cool.
Yeah, I know. It's like if you have a place to rent, you can get paid in Steam. And vacation rentals
Hey,
are.
maybe Red River will start accepting some Steam over there before we go back next year.
Well, yeah, you have to earn yourself some enough to rent a room, though. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not stacking it up too fast. I think I like $2.50 worth of Steam, but
Well, we went ATV riding up there on a bunch of different trails, and it was so awesome. And we went and saw Bunker Hill, which is an old mine up there. Saw it, and that was really cool on those trails. It was pretty neat. It was gorgeous. And the temperature was amazing. I can't stand the heat. It doesn't do my body very good. And we went over there, and the highs were 50s to 60s, and the lows were in the 40s at night, and it was just beautiful.
Wow. So anyway, this is, if you guys can see this thing up here on the upper left is what's left of Fernanda. This is like Tropical Storm Greg, and there's this big thing behind it that I don't know if it has a name yet. But that's about 1,500 miles away from Hawaii, So the hurricane season has started early again this year, and if it's anything like last year, it'll be nonstop, hurricanes headed in this general direction, and most of them will miss, but one could make landfall if we're not too lucky. But,
I hope that it misses you.
Yeah. Me too. There was no panic at Walmart, because this thing just basically nicked the Maui and the North Shore of Oahu, and that's it. My side of the island, it's blue sky all day, just a little bit of wind. And this is now a tropical trough, or tropical low pressure trough. It's not it stopped being a hurricane like way before it got here. So
well, good. I hope the next ones do the same thing. I hope they just bring you rain, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to be able to track these things, but yeah, it's so far hasn't been anything to panic over.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I was wondering, and then I also had some friends that have been over in Hawaii, that high school friends, and I was just like, they were posting from Hawaii, and I was like, is there not a hurricane coming towards you?
Well, nobody cares. Tourists are the last people. They're always the last people to show up at Walmart. That's where all the tourists go to right before the storm hits. So if you show up with the camera, you'll see a bunch of people from all over the world who don't know what they're doing showing up at Walmart trying to buy water.
Oh,
It's happened many times before, and there's a perfect, they'll be like flood in there, and there's like a perfectly empty, fine Safeway, 500 yards away. But
they all think Walmart.
Yeah, everybody just panics at the Walmart. Oh, it'll be, water will be, 5 cents cheaper there than at Safeway, and probably is. But, it's like it was so funny that, when I was there, I walked by, they had Spam, they had rice, they had water, they had everything. And Walmart was like parking lot was just jammed. You couldn't find a parking space in the whole damn place. And Safeway was just, perfectly calm,
That's hilarious.
I know, but it's because of all the tourists that they're like, "Where's the Walmart?" and they jam in there,
Yeah.
And,
well, now I know if I'm visiting Hawaii and there's a hurricane coming, I can just
go to a regular grocery store. Yeah.
Go to a regular grocery store, look for grocery stores in the area, and avoid the Walmarts, and I'll be good.
Yeah, I think Dusty said he had a neighbor visiting Hawaii too, so it's a touristy kind of a place.
Oh yeah.
That's when I saw that thing on Steam about Steam B&B, I was like, oh man, because they're making a big deal about trying to raise all the taxes, but the transient resident tax, which is basically the tourist tax on room rentals, and collecting it, because there's a lot of like Airbnb places that haven't been paying taxes to the state for, you know, that they're supposed to pay, and they basically operate under the radar kind of thing, and so the state basically, and the county doesn't care, because the state takes the money from the Big Island and they spend it in Honolulu, and they don't spend any of it on the island that they collect the taxes from, you know, and they're supposed to, but they don't, you know, because that's where the power is all in Honolulu. So, but it's like on this island, they take all the money from Kona and spend it over in Hilo, you know, so it's like, it's just wherever the political power is, you know, wherever the most voters are, I guess, you know. I don't know. So anyway, I was showing my shotgun bandolier that I got, because been watching Mad Max all week. I got a double feature Mad Max DVD at Walmart. And, let's see, here's my camera again. You probably missed it. There's my shotgun bandolier, 56 rounds.
Oh yeah.
Ammo you can wear, you know.
It's so in these days too, you know. It's very stylish.
Well,
it's all the
every time I watch, you know, Mad Max, he fires the shotgun and the shells never work, you know, half the time, you know. It's like he pulls the trigger and just, and then, you know, a little red spark, and then nothing happens, you know. So I figured I'd prepare my bandolier earlier. Did you see were you here when I was playing the video before of the moped attack?
I don't think so.
All right, I'll play it one more time, because it's worth it. Let's see if I can find it. 1 second.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can find it. Right, here it is. Turn off the hurricane.
So who all's out in the external over here on?
I saw Jesse James, and I think that on the Gun Channel side, I didn't look on YouTube.
Rupan, Jesse James.
All right, so if you got here late, I'm going to play this one more time. I want to hit the screen share button again.
Patrick's over, and Jared and Walsh are both over on.
Yeah, okay.
YouTube.
Can you see this?
Yes.
Really?
Uh-huh.
So this is Venezuela. That's a sugar truck, the sugar delivery truck, and all these guys on mopeds have Molotov cocktails.
Oh. That's not good.
Well, they can't eat because there's no food. So they basically firebomb the cab of the truck and then steal the sugar.
You know, that just shows how when people are desperate, what they'll do. It's so sad. It's sad that they feel like they have to do that, and at the same time, you know.
Well, they can't. There's no other way to get food. I mean, you know, the government has completely broken down. They've nationalized everything, and now nothing works. You know, they nationalized. You know, they basically nationalized the stores, all the food distribution. They, you know, seized all the food, and they went to the farmers and says, "We're going to buy all your crops, but we'll tell you what the price is." You know, and you know, then they paid them in worthless bolivars. You know, which I think they have like 2,000% inflation per day or something over there. Yeah, and you know, it's like at the beginning of during the Revolutionary War. You know, the United States had Continentals currency that they printed, and you needed, in order to buy a wagon full of supplies, you needed a wagon full of money. You know, literally, it was that worthless. And basically, you know, you can't. There's no food. And if you look on the YouTube, you'll see videos of people waiting in line just for a bowl of soup all day. And they have to give up their fingerprints, their ID, and, you know, pledge loyalty to Maduro or something, you know. And they have 15,000 Cuban troops in there helping to, you know, suppress the opposition. And, you know, it's just only military is the only thing keeping them in power right now. So there's a civil war going on pretty much, and you know, whether the United States is going to intervene so that you know, the Cubans don't just take over completely. I mean, which they got 15,000. The Cubans have 15,000 troops there, so it's just. I mean, look at all these people. They just want some sugar, you know.
It's something better than.
Yeah, and they can barter it for something else that they need too. You know.
Yeah.
They're just running off with sacks of sugar.
Isn't that just nuts? I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. So
I understand though. I mean, like if I had to look at my granddaughter or my husband or my kids, I'd probably do whatever I had to make sure they had food.
Yeah, so it's just, I think the important thing that takeaway from this is that, you know, don't just stack ammo and guns. I mean, that's important, but you need food too. You know, it's just as important. And because everything disappeared really quick in Venezuela. You know,
Oh yeah. And you know, the guns and ammo are really glamorous and all of that stuff. I get it. I get the draw to it. I'm drawn to that too. But you know, you can't eat that gun and ammo, I guess, unless you're ready to die, and then you can eat a bullet, I guess. But you know, otherwise, you know, you kind of have to. You know, most of the time, people die of either, you know, diseases because they're not it's not sanitary enough conditions. So people don't think about making sure they have enough stuff to sanitize. So either disease or infections from basic illnesses, things that we're used to being able to go to the doctor or go to the store and get medicine for and get it taken care of, or if it gets serious, going to a hospital and getting an IV. But, you know, whenever that's not available, those people die of those basic illnesses that you know, infections from a infected cut or something like that, you know. So, I mean, you know, the guns and stuff are glamorous, but, you know, more people die of infections and unsanitary conditions than they do of even starvation. So,
yeah, I think next time at Walmart, I'll pick up some extra hand sanitizer. I've got some, but I don't think I have enough, so I'm going to buy some more.
And it's just some basic bleach to be able to add to some water to sanitize. You know, I know that water is a precious commodity, but, you know, you can have that if you have a source of water. You can have bleach. You can sanitize.
Yeah, but bleach has a very limited lifespan. You can't really, you know, stockpile it or anything.
You can get the pull shock that's powdered. You have to be very careful. You need to do your research on that and, you know, be ready for that.
Yeah, or Aquamira sells, you know, like Halazone tablets or stuff like that. I don't know if they call it Halazone anymore, but it used to be they used to call it Halazone tablets when I was a kid. I don't know. But they sell like Aquamira, you know, chlorine drops or whatever.
Right. Right. But also if you have something like powdered, you know, the powdered, then you can just break off some, put it in some water and use that to sanitize surfaces and things like that if you need to, and not just, you know, for your water treatment or whatever. You know, it's a multi-use thing is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and so it's just hey, I was going to ask Dusty if he actually all that grain he had, you actually know how to make that into bread, you know? I mean, could you actually make bread with that? Do you have, like, you know, grinders and stuff and all the stuff you need to make bread out of all the grain you have stored?
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have, you know, for bread, you're going to want some wheat or barley or something like that. And I don't have any of that stored. I have corn and soybeans stored, but I guess you could use cornstarch or whatever to make bread.
Corn tortillas.
Yeah, there you go.
Tortilla.
That's a different corn too, though.
Oh, it's a different corn. So it's going to be a lot of corn on the cob is what it's going to be.
You can make some apocalyptic enchiladas.
Apocalyptic enchiladas.
call them apocalypse enchiladas.
Yeah, so we're all gonna bug out to Dusty's farm, and that'll be like Tomorrowland.
There we go.
Need to build in some
Dusty's like, I will shoot you if you show up at my place.
Hedgehogs.
You're not putting up any hedgehogs, no matter how many tanks attack your farm.
I'm sure he's got his whole place booby trapped. He's like, I know Oily and Hawaii Volcano Squad are going to be heading my direction. I'm booby trapping.
Well, he's gonna, if he knows I'm coming, he'll just booby trap the beer.
That's all he has to do. And he'll take you out with one little.
Yeah, it'll have a refrigerator marked beer, and I open it and it explodes, and then.
There you go. Oh.
Then
I had that visual in my head. That's hilarious.
Then he gets to keep my Tavor. Oh.
Oh. That's funny. I don't care who you are.
So anyway, so yeah, I've been watching Beyond Thunderdome. Go ahead.
I don't think you'll ever see a day where a tank would drive onto my property. I cannot believe that in any way.
All right.
You don't think?
Well, could you see any attack? Could there be a situation where there'd be any kind of where your farm would be attacked in force by a large group of people of any kind, looking for food?
No,
or something?
I can't imagine that either. That's why. I mean, what's there here to take? If there's any situation that would happen. You're not going to go attack 5 or 10 people and try to take them over. You're going to go take over 20 and 40 people areas. That's like the road I live on. There is probably 3 houses on it. So there's maybe 10 people that live on my road.
Well, I mean, if
I don't see that being
eventually they would have to move out to places like that. But yeah, I mean, the bigger cities would be what would fall first.
In the cities, it's that's where the chaos starts, when everybody runs out of supplies and food in the cities, and they all spread out.
But then they have
to the country.
Exactly.
What I
they
see
start
happening
moving.
is I see me having to protect my property from people trying to steal food or whatever, fuel, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, you'll be out chasing a pig, and then they'll see the pig, and then they'll want it.
Right.
Right.
Yep. I have places set up to where I am, actually standing guard or protecting what I have.
So you need to build guard towers, is what you need. You need a series of guard towers.
We have an old antenna, tower out here, and my son keeps wanting to build a bird's nest on top of that, like a stand on top of it so that he can see, because it's pretty tall.
Well,
he can do it. He can weld.
You can get a tree stand, Hunter's tree stand, and put it up there.
Oh, well, this is metal. He can just weld the platform on.
Oh, that'll work.
To those, I have a bunch of other platforms that I've built for hunting. So, yeah, I have guard towers if I need them.
Oh, cool.
There you go.
You just need a few hedgehogs, and then you'll be fine. Okay, I'm not going to get on that too much.
I don't think my wife is going to let me put one of those up for a yard ornament. I'm sorry. I just don't see that flying.
Well, what about for Christmas? You could put Christmas lights on it and say it's a Christmas decoration.
I do not see that flying. Single yet.
Yeah,
I don't plan to be.
Most women aren't like me. See, I'm thinking future possible poo-poo hitting the fan going down. Most women aren't like me, though. They're just like, that's ugly. It ain't happening. I don't care as long as I feel secure. I just want my place secure. But,
Yeah.
Most women, like I said, aren't like me. So.
Well, you're special.
I am special. My husband tells me I'm special in the head all the time.
All right. So, what's everybody working on? You guys working on any preps at all this week, or you just got back from vacation, or at least so?
I got back from vacation. I'm gonna post some videos over on Steemit on some different suggestions I have for preps. I did order a combo of Where There Is No Dentist and Where There Is No Doctor. The combo of those two books, because it's cheaper to get it from their site and do a combo than to buy them separately over on Amazon.
Yeah.
Save about $10 that way. So
yeah, I think I left a comment on that. It's like I definitely need to get some fish mocks. Basically, I need some penicillin just in case there's an infection. That's one thing that's missing from my preps.
You need a couple of different things too, because penicillin doesn't work real well for like UTIs or kidney infections, and those can become very dangerous very quickly.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about dental infections.
Like
metronidazole
is good one to have on hand for that. And
my dentist prescribed amoxicillin, and it worked to knock out when I had an infected root canal. So I figured I'd just get that, But
yeah, for teeth and for most general illnesses, the penicillin will work. Just for certain things like kidney and UTI infections, those don't typically work as well.
So social diseases and stuff like that. Yeah, well, definitely, fish antibiotics are on my future shopping list, and
absolutely, yep. I'm fixing to order some next paycheck. I need to update the ones I've got, because I've got some here. I need to update some, and there's some that we had used. Like, I normally don't use my fish antibiotics unless we have access to a doctor, because if they can run a blood culture, then we know if it's bacterial or viral, and if it's viral, antibiotics aren't going to do any good anyways, and that's what is the problems with people becoming resistant. So if I don't have to use them, I don't, but occasionally something happens to where we'll take it for a few days until we can get to the doctor, because maybe it's the doctor's on vacation, or it's on the weekend. You know how it never fails. That stuff hits on the weekend or late at night or when the doctor's on vacation. So I like to have those as backups in the event that I need to. So
yeah,
but I don't recommend people just taking them just to have, without seeing a doctor.
Yeah, well, if the grid is up, then definitely go see your doctor or dentist or wherever your problem is, and provide a prescription, and you get stuff legally from a pharmacist, and your insurance paid for it.
Yeah, exactly, and you can preserve your preps as well. So
yeah, save your preps for the when you need them, and but
exactly.
So Dusty, exactly what kind of beer are you drinking today, just for the record?
Crooked Tree. It's made by Dark Horse Brewing out of Marshall, Michigan.
Okay. Crooked Tree out of Dark Horse Brewing in Michigan. All right. I've never heard of that
Marshall, Michigan. It's about 30 miles from my house. So it's a local brewery.
And you were upset about somebody buying out Sierra Nevada Brewing Company?
Yes.
Who bought it?
Yes. InBev. It's a major conglomerate. They own everything right now.
Are they out of Europe?
They own.
Is it a European conglomerate?
Yes. Yeah, they've bought out Budweiser. They've bought out Coors. They've bought out Miller, I think, even.
That was the other thing I wanted to talk about. So now that we're on Europe screwing things up, another thing that was on Steam, it was Laura Southern getting banned off of Patreon. She's been banned off of YouTube. And, I looked at some of her videos on YouTube, and so she went to Steemit, but it's like there was this one video that she had, well, two of them. One was she was in a suburb of Paris, France, and she's like this blonde girl, and she went with the cameraman in the suburb of Paris that's in Islamic, enclave, and so there were police there that said, I hope you can run fast, you know. But and the police with like police, there's a police squad with long guns who were afraid to go in there because after dark, you know, they were like accosted by a bunch of Islamists who wanted to know, you know, why it did, you know, they told her to turn off the camera, put it down, and I guess they don't like blonde girls with, you know, that show their hair or something in that part of Paris because it's, you know, they want Sharia law or something, you know. And they were just going around asking people if they wanted Sharia law in Paris in that particular neighborhood, and they're all, you know, Islamists there, and it's an enclave, and they don't want to assimilate, and so, you know, they literally had to run for their lives after dark to get out of there, and the police were afraid to go there, and they all had their long guns out. I mean, a squad of police with long guns were like, we're not going in there.
It was basically like Chicago.
And the same thing in Belgium, in a town I think called Mielbach or something, Mielbach, and it's like the same exact thing where there's an enclave where it's a no-go area, the police don't go, and you know, a blonde, you know, reporter basically just asking people questions, you know, after dark or something, you know, that just pisses, you know, everybody in that neighborhood off, and everybody runs out, like, you know, and it costs her, you know, because she's got blonde hair. So I guess, you know, but really, I was thinking in Paris, really, you know, that was even, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, people have been trying to pass Sharia law here in the States. I mean, it's. Right?
I know, but that's like a capital city of like an old world of the old, you know, old world capital city, and it's like
that, you know, shows you how people falling, you know, being asleep and you know, thinking this is equality stuff. You know, I'm not saying
there's nothing equal about Sharia law. When they're telling somebody with blonde hair that you can't, you know, walk around here because you have blonde hair. You know?
If you're a woman, if you're different than what they consider normal sexuality, you know, I mean.
Well, this was just a girl with blonde hair asking people questions and a camera guy. So that just, you know, they just were basically attacked. And so they basically, Patreon and YouTube and, you know, all those social media just turned, you know, ended her accounts because they were afraid of that there could be some violence and somebody could get killed. You know, and so, but so she started. That's when she started her Steemit account. So, you know, whatever. But you know, I've never seen her, before, but I saw her Steemit account. And then I just watched some of her videos, and it was like, you know, okay, you know, boy, I didn't know it was that bad in there. But then it's like, I didn't, you know, you could look in Venezuela where there's firebombing trucks for sugar. So the world is kind of, you know, teetering on the edge of, you know, some major problems.
And people think it will never happen here. It could never happen here. But how many people thought that like how many? What about the Jews? I mean, I'm sure, you know, your heritage never thought, you know, that anything like that would happen to them either in the 40s. And
well, my grandmother was trying to get out of Poland, but you know, it just happened too quick. She like, you know, started it. She left one of her daughters in Belgium, went back to Poland to try and sell the property and close out the businesses, and the invasion just happened. You know, it was overrun, and it just happened. And then, you know, once the bomb starts falling, everything fucking changes. You know, and it changed overnight. So, you know, it changed the moment the bomb started falling. You know, it didn't change overnight. It changed like in a second.
Oh yeah. So, it's frightening.
So, but you know,
that's why I prep.
Yeah, well, I got to say, America is one of the best countries. I feel safer in America than I would any place else on the planet. You know, but still, you know, the bad things can happen, and it's just, you know, we're witnessing a lot of them, so. You know, you just do the best you can. You don't worry. I don't worry about it. You know, I live my life and try and be happy all the time. You know, and have fun. And,
yeah.
And,
I mean, let fear overtake you. You just can't. You know, you. There's a difference between being afraid and having forethought. You know what I mean? There's a difference.
Yeah, and the thing that I like about prepping can be kind of fun because it's like, you know, you just do whatever, you know, gets you high that particular day. If you want to go, you know, panic buy like 10, you know, 1,000 rolls of pallets of toilet paper or something, you know, or Charmin, then, or, you know, do that. If that day. If you want to buy like a pallet of Van de Kamp's pork and beans, then do that. If that makes sense. If you want to buy a gun or a knife or a samurai sword or a bow and arrow, you can do whatever makes you. It's and but you can have fun doing it because you don't always have to. It's not like a grind.
Right.
Because you can always do something different because there's so many different things so many different dimensions to being a prepared person. But yeah, you don't let the world like drag you down.
Exactly. You don't stop living your life. You go on, you live your life. You just, put back a little bit here and there. And like you said, you don't have to, it doesn't all have to be beans and rice and,
I was thinking what I should do.
How much?
Go ahead, Dusty.
I just have a question for you two. How much food do you guys have in your houses? How long could you go without shopping at all?
I have in my pantry enough to go for at least 2 to 3 months, and then in my freeze dried and dehydrated stuff enough to probably go for 6 months or longer.
I was thinking,
and then in my freezer, which you got to keep in mind, we didn't stock this by money out of our own pocket. My husband won half a beef around Thanksgiving of last year, and around Halloween of last year, and we finally got the half a beef that was cured and everything in like just before Christmas. So our freezer was full from a half a beef, and then my husband's dad butchered a cow, and we got 100 pounds of that.
Is your farm big enough to do cattle ranching?
We have cattle out here. Well, it's my father-in-law does the cattle, raises the cattle and stuff, but they live out here where we live. So he has cattle several places. This is one of them. We have 25 to 50 head on any given time, and they usually have calves on them. So, like, we're about due to wean the calves. So, usually when that happens, then, if there's one that gets out of hand or whatever, he'll go have it butchered and split the meat between everybody. Stuff like that. But, yeah, we could run cattle out here if we wanted to, but usually that provides us with enough meat like that,
How much how much feed does it cost to keep them all fed and watered?
Well, we raise our own stuff for hay, and then the water not very much at all. We have a big tank out here, and we have a well, so watering doesn't cost anything. We have about 180 acres right here, so we have plenty of land for them to graze off of and to make hay. So, hey, Squib.
Aloha.
So yeah.
How's the USS Texas?
Well, I heard that it's they bailed it out. Other than that, I don't know.
What?
Oh, there was a lot of rain or something?
What's up?
What, did it get flooded or what?
I heard Sean Ponnery say a couple weeks ago that it sprung another leak, and they couldn't keep up with the pumps, and they had to close it down for a little bit, and then they reopened it or whatnot. So,
oh,
yeah,
that sucks. I have fond memories of that. I toured it when I was about 10.
Yeah, I was on it I took a tour on it back in 94, 95,
yeah.
94, I think. So eventually I'll get back out to it.
Did you go on your vacation yet?
Oh, yeah. I went on a vacation. I'm still dragging a little bit from it.
You sound draggy. Yeah, you're supposed to be revved back up after a vacation, not like...
I guess I'm relaxed. I don't know. I set my alarm clock to wait. I just going to try to get some sleep and come on the show, and I must have hit the snooze button. So.
You and Oily need so if you need your phone to on Monday to first tell you that it's Monday.
I have it set to at 9 o'clock, let me know that you're going to be on so that I have time to, get everything done. And I don't know
Here,
if.
I have something that's be really great for your ringtone. Let me get it. I'll be right back.
Oh no, I'm scared. So where did you go on vacation?
No, no, because hedgehogs don't make any noise. But if I had seen one at one of the museums I went to, I would have taken a picture for him. They don't even have them at museums, so.
I'm sitting here cutting up a piece of fat wood, like shaving it. So.
Fat
Cut some
wood?
hairy legs, No, I'm just kidding. So where did you go on vacation?
I went to Alabama and Florida and a little bit of Georgia. How was New Mexico?
Oh, it was beautiful. I want to move there so bad. In the Rocky Mountains part, not in the part that's just like Oklahoma, where I live. Because I live in western Oklahoma, it's pretty much kind of like the desert. Sandy and just dry and awful. And it's crazy because that occipital neuralgia I have from that damaged nerve, it didn't hurt me as bad up at that altitude. I thought it would be worse, but it actually was better. And my allergies were better. I figured I'd be allergic to all those evergreens. Actually, I'm more allergic to the stuff around here. I did amazing there, and the temperature was so nice and cool. Oh, it was heaven. I didn't want to leave. I just want to move there.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the desert myself.
Oh, I can't handle the desert. I can't handle the heat. My sister has lupus, and the heat and the sun affects you a lot when you have that. And I've never tested positive for it because my inflammatory tests have never shown to have that much inflammation in my body as of yet. But all of my symptoms show that it's possible that I have it. It just hasn't flared up enough yet. But I can't handle the heat. So, I'm usually just stuck indoors here. And so I was able to get out and enjoy myself. And it was hoodie weather the whole time we were there. I could go in a t-shirt or a hoodie, and I was perfectly comfortable. There was only one time the sun poked through, and it got a little bit warm. But it only lasted about 20 minutes or so, and then the clouds came back. I mean, it rained pretty much every day except for one that we were there. We're going to go back next year, and we're staying longer. It was just that gorgeous.
Okay, I think I will make this into my new ringtone. That should be my new ringtone, or your alarm that it's time for lock and load.
So lock and load has
goes like lock and load,
Yeah, lock and load has become the Thunderdome.
Well, I got my shotgun bandolier, Squibb 56 round shotgun bandolier, and I loaded it up this weekend. So I'm ready for Thunderdome.
What kind of shotgun do you have?
A Benelli Supernova.
Oh yeah, what gauge?
It's 12 gauge.
Awesome.
Pump action.
I've never shot a Benelli, but I hear they're really nice.
I mean, it's a shotgun, It's not rocket science.
No, I mean Benellis are well made, and they've got stuff. They've got that recoil. I can't remember what it was called. Some sort of proprietary recoil management device in the stock. So
it's an inertia system. I have a Super Black Eagle, and I also have a 20 gauge and a Monoflico, and both of them are excellent shotguns.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, and it can handle the Supernova can handle the 3.5 Magnum loads if you need to go loaded for bear. So, but anyway, so that should be your alarm tone. I could send you that in a file if you want, Oily.
There you go.
I'm gonna actually make that my ringtone. My actual ringtone right now is I can play that one it's just Yankee Doodle, basically. It's been my ringtone. If I could find it. Jeez. Where is I can't do anything on this phone. I'm so it's a Samsung Galaxy 3 and I don't know, I'm just not super tech friendly with this thing. Let's see.
It's because it's outdated.
Yeah, I know it is, but I'm waiting. I'm not buying a new. I do know that I could take the battery out of this thing, so nobody can track me. And a lot of new phones you can't do that. So I could take the battery out and then put it back in when I want to use it. But which is a nice thing about this model. But I'm not buying a new phone until they start putting out the organic screens, which is going to be the next big thing. Because after they come out with organic screens, everybody's going to just throw away their LCD screen phones because everybody's going to want organic and screens. So I'm just not going to spend any money on something that everybody's just going to throw away. Because I guess cell phones still cost a lot of money. The latest one. Now all I have to do is my files. Yeah, let me see. It'll be under music. That's not it. Documents. I'll just click all files. That's not it. Podcasts. Sounds. I don't know which one it is. Ringtones. Right. Here's my ringtone. So I could switch from that to, one man enters, two man leaves. But
you just need to record your voice saying, "It's Monday, lock and load, baby," and then I can set that as my alarm sound.
It's Monday, lock and load. All right. Well, I say that on every chat, when I got my Glock thing going on. So, you could just go to any Monday and take the lock and load sound.
You can call it Glock and load.
Sure.
Easy.
So Squib, you had a great time on your vacation with your family and all?
Oh yeah. We did the whole Disney thing, and that went a lot better than I thought. And I got to see. Well, I'm not a amusement park guy. I'm not. It's just not my thing. But it went really good, and we all had a really good time, and even Grouchy me had a good time. So.
We did Disney in January myself. My sister lives about 10 minutes from Disney.
Well, my dad was very young. He had a job working at Disney, and he had to dress up in the pig suit and as Porky the Pig or something, and talk to the kids. And so at one time he told me the story of when he went to tie he had to bend down on his knee to tie his shoe. And he had problems doing it in the pig outfit. And so one of the little kids says, "Look at the dumb pig, he can't tie his shoe."
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it is.
She didn't say anything back to the kid?
Well, no, what are you going to tell a little kid?
I'm too fat. I can't reach.
Yeah, well, he had the pig outfit on, is what it is. It's
I know, outfit. But what do you tell a kid? You just say, "Yep, I'm too fat. I can't reach my shoe."
Hey, tell him oink. I can't.
How that works?
Yeah, well.
That's like I only say meep over on Steam It. Have they come to you yet?
Who?
Called I Only Say Meep, and it's one of the Muppets characters that only goes meep, meep.
Oh, Beaker?
No.
He goes around and he just says meep on random people's posts.
No, I haven't seen him post anything, but I'm not that big on Steemit. I'm just a minnow on Steemit. So
I'm just a minnow on Steam. Well, I'm plankton right now. I'm not even a minnow yet.
oh well, I'm probably a plankton too then. So
Yeah.
I did put my Steemit thing on my YouTube page, my Steemit link on my YouTube page. So it's like if you follow me, you would have seen that Venezuela video because I did a post with that on, so people, it's just another way to follow me that YouTube can't censor,
Yeah.
and so like that was saying, they censored Laura Southern, and I think that Crypto Mafia lock and load that I did, they demonetized that one, and because it had the word mafia in it, I guess, or I don't know, maybe it's like,
I guess because it's negative connotations. Oh my gosh, how horrible!
yeah, I mean, the only negative connotations is censorship, but whatever.
Yep.
We'll get through it all somehow, and
Peace,
keep on.
police.
Yep. And so, other than that, not too much. The first hurricane missed us, and there's a couple more on the way. So we'll see how that goes. It's hurricane season is indefinitely started, so it's just a question of how many are going to miss us until one actually hits us, because we usually get a lot of near misses, which is what this last one was. So.
Oh, I'm sure.
So we got last season was 15. I think only like 2 of them made landfall at all. But,
See, we only had 1 tornado, and people always think we're crazy because we live in Tornado Alley. We only had like 1 tornado this season that we had to go to the cellar for, the shelter.
yeah, but if the lightning hits like an oil well, then everything explodes or something. I don't know.
I don't have an oil well that close to me. We do have a site that's on our property that formerly an oil well was on, but
If lightning hits an oil well, you heard of a lightning rod?
oh my gosh, speaking of lightning, yesterday we did have a storm come through. It's very brief, but it was highly electrical, and we were in the barn fixing my granddaughter's mama's tire with our tire machine, and while we were out there, lightning hit, and we heard the sound after the lightning hit, or like right at the same time. Really, it was like boom. So I know it had to. I don't know if it hit the barn or what, but the electric flashed, and then it came back up. But I was like hiding, ready to hide. That was crazy. I don't know where it hit. We still don't know where it hit, but it had to have been right next to the barn.
Is the
fires north of us and south of us too?
Is the barn grounded or not really because it's a barn?
I'm not sure it really is. I don't know. I mean,
well, you know what happened here about a year, or no, it's like 2 years ago, was we had a lightning strike, hit like right by the pool, and it took out a big chunk of concrete. There's like some rebar under the concrete, and it hit some piece of metal, and then there's just like blew a huge divot in the concrete. Basically, is what happened. Finally took him like 2 or 3 years to get around to fixing it, but but it was like it knocked out some electricity, and I think it hit like a light pole or something, and then it spread out into the concrete through the rebar or something, and it just it totally wasted just the the concrete by the pool. Is just like it was an amazingly big divot in a concrete just because there was some metal underneath it. But
oh wow. Well, the calves, when that lightning hit, the calves were like jumping all over the place. They were looking around like, what in the world? They didn't know what to think of it. Started running all over the place.
Yeah, I think, and I didn't show it on this. I think I was off after the chat, but I showed like in Kona they had the local paper had an article about how on July 4th the fireworks scare all the animals, and the animal shelter gets lots of dogs and in the shelter because they ran away from wherever they lived because of fireworks. And they had this one picture of this. It was a cross between a pit bull and a boxer, and his name was Pickles. And I swear, I just wanted to run down and adopt him. If I had a house with a backyard, I would have. But it was. But yeah, the lightning freaks out the animals, and especially around July 4th, the fireworks do too. And
oh yeah, well that's how my dog ended up missing for 79 days last year.
That's a long time.
Yeah, and she was out in the middle of nowhere with cougars and all kinds of stuff.
How many cougars are in your
up by
area?
That way? There's one that runs around here, at least one. I know they're kind of territorial. Good to see you too, John Z Project. There's not a whole lot, but I mean there are some, and then up further north there's more than there are around here. And she survived bobcats, cougars, coyotes, all of that for 79 days. So yeah, she was went missing on July 3rd of last year, scared off by some fireworks up at the river 30 miles north of us. And we finally got her back about 10 miles east of there. Some people, after 2 months of not seeing, no reports of her, an oil field guy that was driving up through there, drives a truck every day through there. He happened to see her. And it took me a week after that to get her back, but put food and water out there. It was during the heat, 100 plus for about 2 months for most of last summer. She survived it all. I don't know how she did it, but she did.
Yeah, that's what was your dog's name? Or is
CJ.
PJ or
PJ.
CJ? Oh, okay. That's the one you did the video with.
Yep. The blue heeler. Yep. She's right here. She's my little protector. She doesn't leave my side unless I have to leave and go somewhere, and then she sulks when she sees me getting ready.
Yeah.
I had to run to town today, and she was sitting there sulking and, pouting and following me because.
Yeah, that's the one thing I liked about it, because I said I've been watching I had like the Mad Max thing on a loop, and I like the Road Warrior because he had that dog in that movie, his car.
Uh-huh.
I just love the scene where the dog has a little dog bone attached to the shotgun trigger. and then the dog looks at a rabbit and scares the gyro captain to death. That's one thing I was thinking that you should get, Dusty, is an ultralight, so you can be like the gyro captain, and patrol your farm, in an ultralight. Because how many acres? You got a lot of acres to patrol there, man.
Yes, but I don't like heights.
Neither do I, but
my feet were designed for the ground.
Oh, so you're not going to be the gyro captain. All right.
Is this the new Mad Max you're talking about?
No. The new Mad Max Fury Road. That was Tom Hardy. The Road Warrior, where the gyro captain he was in both Road Warrior which was the second one, and the third one, Thunderdome. But he had a smaller role.
New Mad Max.
Yeah, I liked the Fury Road too. I liked it a lot. I
like the way they bounced back and forth on those in that chase scene.
Oh, on the pole riders or something. What were they?
Yes, that was awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah, I like to get. If I get, I didn't show Dusty. I think I'll play that video of the farm that with the place with the tunnel. I'm gonna show Dusty. Or show Oily that. I showed Dusty that in the pre-chat. I showed Squib in the after chat on.
And you don't need to do the Mad Max movies because that could be the Batcave. You should do the Batman movies.
I'm Batman.
Yeah, be the Batcave.
All right. Well, let me see if I can dig up that.
Did you see whenever I was talking about how fashionable your shotgun shell holder thingy was, whatever you call it, and Patrick said just don't get the bootyless chaps.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And I
pass
said,
on
"Yes,
those.
please don't get the bootyless chaps."
But the last girlfriend, the serious girlfriend that I had, she specifically liked my butt. But whatever, girls are weird. Anyway, let me screen share this thing. So,
I don't care. I don't want to see a good-looking freaking bodybuilder in buttless chaps.
all right. So anyway, this is this property that's for sale up on the volcano, and it has an underground lava tube. It goes back for miles.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you showed me that.
Oh, I showed you this?
Yeah, remember I said that if it had lava in it before, won't it again? And you said no. And I argued with you over that.
Did I show you the video of it though?
I don't think the video.
Here's the video. Can you see it? So.
Oh yeah, I think you just showed me some photos. You didn't show me the video.
Yeah, this is the video of this place. It's listed at $400,000, but and sold yet.
That's all. That's no big. That's just pocket change.
Just need my Bitcoin to go up, There
you go. John Z is still trying to convince one of us, gain our sympathies so he can move on one of our properties.
Well, yeah, you just have to provide some useful kind of shit hits the fan skill, There
you go. All he's got to do is just find a camper.
Brain surgeon, dentist.
Move on the back property here.
Oil.
Just take care of the coyotes for me and the wild boars, and
corn
we'll be good.
Tortilla specialist. Something like or
apocalypse corn.
Or beer brewer.
There you go. Hey, I'm trying to grow some elderberry. He can be making me some elderberry wine. That'd be all right.
Yeah, so the video gets to the tunnel part in a minute, towards the end, but which is the cool part. So there's all these little tiny agriculture sheds converted to living space.
That's cool. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, so these are ohia trees.
They're all what trees?
Ohia. OHIA. Ohia.
And what are they just ornamental or are they?
No, they're a keystone species of tree that's fundamental to the volcano rainforest.
So are you growing your own sugar? Oh, you live in a
condo.
Yeah. You can't grow your own sugar.
So here's the cave. Here's the lava tube. It's natural. Oops. And that they spent $25,000 to wire in electricity in here. They pulled a permit and stuff. They rent this cave out for weddings right now. But
that's cool.
Yeah, the thing is, if you go back, they said the cave goes back miles, and I don't know how old the cave is, but they used to use lava tubes to bury people in, the ancient Hawaiians. So I don't know how long this cave's been there, and it's kind of remote, so could be nobody's buried in there. But if you go back a few miles, you might find a skeleton.
Oh, that's comforting.
All right. Well, anyways, I'll stop screen sharing that.
Put a do not disturb on that skeleton. Yeah.
So anybody else working on anything for their preps or any gun stuff or anything new? Or did we cover everything?
When I was in Florida, I met with Raphael from Gun Channels in Tampa. We met up at Shooter's World. So
cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I know, Dusty. I go and meet somebody all the way from Florida when you're just 2 hours away.
Laziness and
I'll tell you one worse than that. I texted you when I was at Jay's.
Yeah.
That you would have went to Jay's in Clare. I was minutes away from driving there. I would have been there that Saturday.
Well, you know how bad the phone reception is up north. There's sort of a lag there, so.
Okay, well,
messages get crossed, right?
But on Saturday, you said you went there 2 days earlier, which would have made Saturday because we went to Jay's in Gaylord on Monday. But that Saturday, I was sitting at the camper and I thought, man, I ought to drive down to Clare and go to Jay's.
Oh, no, wait. Saturday? No, I went. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I went Sunday and Monday.
Oh,
they were closed
okay. Well, I was
for
at
4th of
Jay's
July.
in Gaylord on Monday.
Yeah, so we were at the two J's locations, but 80 miles apart on the same day. So yeah,
But I had fun. I enjoyed that. The reason we went to Gaylord is because that's a new store, Kmart building, and moved the store into that Kmart building.
Yeah,
and man, that was fabulous.
Yeah, so they've got a lot more room there, and for those listening who don't know, so in northern Michigan, there's a chain of sporting goods stores that's fishing, hunting, camping, stuff like that. It's called Jay's. It's not really a mom and pop operation, but they've got a lot of stuff. I mean, stuff that you don't find at Bass Pro or Cabela's or things like that. And their prices are pretty good, and their staff is pretty friendly. And my in-laws live up near the Jay's location that Dusty's talking about. So whenever I go up north, I'm able to sneak away and go try to buy supplies or whatnot, because I'm always fishing around for reload stuff. But this time we went to Clare, which is in the middle of Michigan, and they've got a big store there as well. I mean, they've even got a Jay's. They've got a truck that looks like a Snap-on tool truck on the corner, just on the street from my house, that sells fishing tackle in a parking lot of a boat shop, because there's lots of inland lakes in Michigan and rivers, and then of course obviously the Great Lakes and whatnot. So I mean, they're big enough to have traveling trucks that sell fishing supplies. So.
Well, I didn't know they did that.
Yeah.
Can you actually eat the fish from the Great Lakes, or too polluted? Is the water too polluted?
No.
They don't have like 3 heads or something like that.
No, nothing like that. No, you can eat the fish from here. I've got a buddy who makes lures for professional bass fishing on the Great Lakes. He specifically makes them for the different lakes here. I guess because they're sensitive to light and depth and temperature and stuff. He tried to explain it to me. I mean, scientifically tried to figure out what lure shapes and patterns and colors and stuff work in what bodies of water at what time of the year and whatnot. And these are like professional grade bass fishing lures. And he sells them, I think, through Jay's and a few other locations. Yeah, I went to the Jay's store in it's a smaller town in Michigan. I want to say it was Kalkaska, but that doesn't sound right. That's up north in the woods in the Hicks and the Sticks. And I bought some of his lures there to give to my father-in-law. I said, "Here, this will help you catch some bass." But there's a lot of in Michigan. There isn't really a lot of tourism. I mean, they say there is, but nobody comes here to do anything. It's the people that live here do. They do. Well, we're not a pass-through state. You know, when I was traveling, right, obviously Ohio, well, if you haven't been to Ohio, there's a butt ton of cops in Ohio. It's kind of like New Mexico. A lot of traffic has to drive through that state. So they have cops everywhere writing tickets left and right. Same thing in Georgia, same thing in Florida. Even if Florida isn't really a pass-through state, they've got so much tourism. They're just cops on every corner, it seems like, writing tickets and making revenue for the state. Well, our state isn't a state that people pass through. The truck traffic here is related to the auto industry and stuff like that, and people don't come here for vacations, even though there's vacation stuff here. It's just it's not like Las Vegas or Florida or Hawaii or something like that. So the people that live here kind of generate the money for the economy. So when they're not working on in the automotive industry in the lower part of the state, they're all going to the northern part of the state to get away from everything. So there's, hunting, fishing, camping, kayaking, canoeing. Lots of people have boats out on the Great Lakes, and they're like miniature oceans. So you've got to have the stores to support this stuff. And the big box stores are nice, especially when they got something on sale. But if you're looking for something specific, it's nice to have local sporting goods stores, especially one as big as Jay's, to have certain things. I definitely scrounge for reload supplies there. So.
Yeah, and I was saying earlier in the chat that if you're in Hawaii, in the Kona side and the west side of Hawaii, you better get your ammo before the end of the year, because the gun shop's up for sale. So we only have one left. So.
And that's the other thing about Michigan. It's just like last week. We had some very hot weather, Roundup sprayed, and Thursday afternoon I told my kids, I said, we're going to hook up to the camper. We're going to drive 20 miles and go to a campground and spend the weekend on the lake, which you can do that in Michigan. You don't have to go a long ways to go find some place to have a good weekend.
Yeah.
We went to the lake. My kids and I spent the time at the lake. My wife went to work like a good wife, and she came and met us at the campground at night.
Yeah.
Went to work like a good wife.
When I was down in Florida, we were on the west side of the state, and we watched the sunset. And then about 3 days later, we were on the east side of the state, and we got up, and we didn't really get much sleep that night. And we got up early and went out to the beach and watched the sunrise. Now, we've watched the sunrise before in Hilton Head, South Carolina. We've watched the sunset in Oceanside, California. But in Michigan, I could have done the same thing. To get from one side of the state to the other, the Great Lakes are so big, you can watch the sunrise and sunset. To get from one side of the state to the other takes about 3.5 to 4 hours. So really what I did in Florida, I could have done here just as easily. And I guess I never really thought about it here. I guess because it being somewhere else a little bit more, exotic is probably too strong of a term, but that's the only thing that comes to mind. But yeah, you could do that here. And when you go swimming in the Great Lakes, although the water is kind of cold, you don't have to worry about the salt burning your eyes. So.
Here you can definitely, watch the sunrise on the east side of Hawaii and then drive over to the west side and watch the sunsets later in the day. So.
I mean, have you ever done that?
Before I've seen sunsets and I've seen sunrises. I think I have a picture on the Hawaii V Squad page on gunchannels.com/HVS. That's the sunrise on the east side of the island in Kapoho. On the top of the page, that's the sunrise in Hawaii, and the sunset is just on where I live now on the Kona side. So, but. Yeah, Hawaii is a very beautiful place, and watching sunrises and sunsets are very, can be very stunning if you have, the right vantage point. It's definitely a different kind of a place sometimes, right? Depending on what part of the island you live,
Oh, man.
All right, who's making all that noise?
Might be me.
That's
drop
what you
my
do
headset.
That's what you're trying to balance too many beers at the same time or something.
Oh, I figured me whittling down on this piece of fatwood was what was causing that, but good.
All right, so Jesse says he's waiting for a new gun. Go ahead.
I can only stand these on my ears so long, and I was moving them around and trying to get them off my ears.
Yeah,
I understand.
I just have like the 90-cent earbuds that they sell at Walmart. The cheap earbuds that kind of get on an airplane or something. Jesse, I think Jesse said he's waiting for a gun. I'm not sure. I think he told me last week what kind of gun it is, but I forgot. Rupan is making some videos on what to do in a case of a zombie apocalypse.
Over on YouTube on Jared Walsh channel.
Okay, yeah. Make sure you type something like that. Type a comment on the YouTube side, so I make double sure that your videos are in my subscription feed. You know.
Yeah, it's Jared Walsh over here on YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but it's easier if he types like hello or something in the YouTube feed. Then I just click and make sure that I'm still.
He did earlier. So if you scroll up.
Okay,
You'll see
I'll scroll up. Jesus, there's a lot of comments in here. Patrick. Oh, there's Jared. Okay. I can make it over there. I think I'm sub to him. I hope I am. Oh, no, I wasn't. Oh, no, I am.
You wasn't. Now you am.
Now I am.
Now you are, Jared.
We is sub. What are you gonna say? What are you gonna say, Dusty? I'm sorry. I mean, no, wait, that was Squib.
I was reading. He said something about he can't post in there. Well,
he posted earlier. That's how I found him.
Yeah, he does. He has better luck, I think, over on
Gun Channel.
Over on the Gun Channel site. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So.
All right. Well, I'll check out all those videos. AR-15 carbine rifle stock with basic tools. Faxon gunner barrel. Mean Arms MA loader. Yugo 57. All right. I got some videos to watch later.
He's working on a midterm while he's listening to you. You should feel privileged, Hawaii.
Midterm schools. I won't comment on schools and midterms. The best part I liked about going to UCLA was the girls and the ski club. Yeah, we had a ski trip to Sun Valley, Idaho. I remember that one.
Really?
Yeah. I used to ski a lot when I was a kid.
I've never been skiing. I'm deprived.
You're living in the flatlands now, so.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people in our
I was a skier.
When I was a kid, I went. I remember like one of the first times I went skiing was I went with like a friend of the family, and he was a kid. I don't know, about a year younger than me, but he was more experienced with skiing. So the part that I remember most is when we we hit some like jumps, and like I think I hit one jump. It was like more like a rut than a jump. You know, I mean, it's just like a thing where it looked like a ski slope, and it basically was a big lip in the snow. And I think I hit it at like 20, 30 miles an hour, and I went like flying up 20 feet in the air, and I managed to land without crashing. So then he tried to do the same thing, and he got his skis messed up crossed right before he hit the lip in the snow, and his like right ski went off to the left, so he kind of like did a barrel roll in the air and then landed on his face or something, and almost broke his leg. But I was just lucky, is what happened, because I didn't know what I was doing, but I just managed to land. But that was like, I was pretty reckless when I was a kid. But he kept pushing me down he's like, let's go to the diamond slopes. Let's go to the diamond slopes. It's like, dude, it's my like second day skiing or something. You want me to put me on the diamonds, And I think that was at North Star in Tahoe. That was like a North Star at the time. I don't know how things have changed. That had like a lot of smaller trails, as opposed to just like Squaw Valley, which is like more open skiing with huge, vast tracts of ski trails that just kind of ran into each other. North Star is a lot more narrow, tree-lined trails, and but anyway, are metals soluble? Yeah, if you heat them up enough. Speaking of which, I just wanted to mention for any of the crypto people out there that Genesis Mining has been down for most of the weekend. I mean, the mining thing is up, but their website still has technical problems, and they're like 3 days behind on doing coin payouts. It has happened before, and they've always fixed it. So, you know, I basically got on social media and, you know, found out what's going on, and so you just have to wait a few days to get your coin payouts from Genesis Mining. But last time I checked, it's still down. So the price you pay for cloud mining Bitcoin, I guess.
Yep.
Is just sometimes technical shit happens, but basically, I said what I do is I just spend the day drinking coffee and watching my 100-ounce, staring at my 100-ounce silver bar until the Genesis Mining comes back online.
Oh my gosh.
I handed out silver as gifts last week.
Well, the price was right.
How come I didn't get any?
So when we were at Disney, we did the Hollywood Studios thing, which has got the Star Wars section. So when we were over on that part of the park, I gave everybody a commemorative Darth Vader silver coin.
By everybody, you mean your family, not just random people.
Just random people. Like, here, dude, here. Yeah, I'm yelling and screaming, "Buy Bitcoin!" No. Yeah, I gave my kids and my wife a commemorative Darth Vader coin. They had them on Provident Metals.
Yeah, I've seen them. I'm not too into the Star Wars coins, but I know some people are. So.
And then for my wife, I got her a Steamboat Mickey silver commemorative coin. So, telling you, man, it makes great gifts.
Did you get the Red Horse of War, Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse coin yet?
Yes, but that is locked in the gun safe waiting for Christmas.
That's
when I get the whole set. When I get the whole set, I got the box for it. So
you bought the box already? I didn't buy the box. I just, so far all I have is the White Horse of Conquest. But I guess I'll get the whole, one of the whole collection. But when they come out with a Pale Horse of Death, or Pale Rider of Death, or whatever it is, with the sickle, I'll get like 10 of those. This will be fucking cool. But I was thinking about that.
I was just going to ask Squib if all this helps. Maybe I should learn something here.
Learn what?
Well, he's saying he buys silver coins for his wife. Does it help?
Yeah, you buy your wife enough silver coins, she may let you get a hedgehog. For Christmas.
Okay. Maybe I'm learning here.
I don't know. She likes stuff like that. She likes the different designs and, the fact you can get them for the different countries, or they've got the commemorative ones, not really collectors,
fun.
So much as, it's kind of fun, but this stuff does have some sort of value in the event that there was some sort of, I don't know, whatever, EMP or I don't know, some solar flare or something, and we lost all the banks and anarchy in the street and stuff like that. If you ever had to trade this stuff, it might, if you can find somebody that would take it, it might become the new currency, gold and silver coins, that sort of thing. Really, for us, it's more about she just likes it. She likes collecting it, and she thinks they're really neat. And she knows that they're valuable. I mean, she could pawn them if we were ever, going to be homeless or something and needed the money. But more than likely, she's probably going to give them away to grandkids one day. So
I think I was watching a Mark Faber on CNBC video, and basically what he said was, stock market crashes, and then he has his portfolio balanced with treasury bonds. So when the stock market goes down, he figures his bonds will go up, and then in value. So it'll balance each other out. And what happens, and then Trump will go or whoever is the president will go to the Federal Reserve Chairman, Janet Yellen, or whoever, and say, okay, we need QE4, we need more easing, print more money. And so then when they do that, the dollar will tumble. But the question is, the dollar will fall in value against what? Because all the other currencies in the world have the same exact problem. And if the U.S. has to do QE4 and print more money for everybody and give out free money, then the dollar, the value, the only thing left for it to fall against is gold. So so gold will take a moonshot, and then silver will take a moonshot, and that was his whole case for metal. Is that if there's a stock market crash, and he was just reminding us that in 1988 in 1986 he saw in one day the stock market lose 21% of its value. So these things do happen from time to time. So that's the whole.
The price of silver could go up, and then the coins would be worth more. Now, obviously, if we had a situation where she's like, I'm getting rid of all the coins so that we can pay the rent or something, we're not going to get whatever they were worth at the time they were purchased. But if the cost us, if silver was way up, hypothetically, we could make money on it. Now, hopefully, we never have to do that, because she's told me she will not let me sell my guns if we were ever destitute. But I don't really expect that we're going to be in a situation where we'd have to start selling our stuff to get by. It's always nice to have something that you can take to the pawn shop, though. And for the hopefully the situation never happens. And as far as we don't really think that there's going to be some sort of collapse, and that people are going to be trading 1 ounce silver coins versus.
Okay, but if there is a collapse,
if there is a
collapse, Dusty, how much silver for a space near your beer refrigerator?
Well, if there was a collapse, though, I think people would start accepting that, because that paper dollar is worthless. That quarter really doesn't have any silver in it unless it's pre-64 or something. But if you had a 1 ounce silver coin, they might accept that, because you can't barter for everything. Dusty's only going to have so many crops to give away for whatever he needs, or I'm going to be able to barter my I don't know, my fix-it skills or something like that for so long. So
what was interesting was, like, during the Revolutionary War, I was watching the History Channel, and is that they said it took a whole, in order to buy a wagon full of supplies, you needed a wagon full of Continental's money, current paper money. It took like a wagon full of it to buy a wagon full of supplies. So, but I mean,
it's not like we have enough silver coins that we could just get by in a situation like that forever.
How many ounces are you? I mean, I'm at 300 ounces, give or take a couple.
When she opens her safe, they fall out. I don't know how many are there.
You never counted them? You never counted them or stacked them? Put them all on the kitchen table and count them one day.
Oh, you got to swim around in those silver.
It's not that much, jeez. But I mean, over time it builds up. The thing is, like I said, more likely nothing will happen, and she'll end up giving these away to grandkids one day, and then she'll think it's cool again. So I mean, they make good gifts, and they might go down in value, or you might not be able to get what you paid for them if you had to pawn them in a situation. But in addition to just being neat and kind of cool and just different, they could be a gift for anybody. It doesn't just have to be your wife or your girlfriend or something like that.
Right.
They could have a secondary use in a situation nobody wants to be in.
Okay, I'm just going to put it out there now. Anybody that has any silver that they would love to send me, I'm all for it. I will be just a happy camper.
You see how easy that is? See, there you go.
Won't hurt my feelings a bit.
So does that answer your question, Dusty?
What was Dusty's question?
Yeah.
It was whether or not it would work on his wife or not. So what you do is you walk in with
like my wife.
You walk in with a handful of these coins, and you go, "Here, honey, this is something I want to give you because I love you. Oh, and by the way, save them in case of the zombie apocalypse."
They have those zombie apocalypse coins too, but they charge a lot of money for those. Those are in high demand.
Even better.
Deals. Like me, I can go buy a gun, and I don't have to ask my wife to buy a gun. And she does the same thing. If she wants something, she goes and buys it. So when it comes time to buy gifts, I mean, if my wife wants something, she buys it. So what do you buy her? So I can see where the silver might be an interesting idea.
Especially if you try to find something with a theme. I mean, I knew we were going to go to the Star Wars thing at Disney, so I ordered the Darth Vader coins in advance. And I found the Mickey Mouse coin by mistake, and I said, "Oh, I'm throwing that on the order." I was there already ordering her part of her Christmas present.
There's
So-
a lot of coins with animals too. If you know they're a nature person and they like cats or lions or
It is-
leopards, they have coins like that from all over the world.
It is Shark Week. My family watches Shark Week every year. The kids love shark.
What was his whole thing with the fake Phelps thing
Oh,
where he was
that was-
supposed to
that was-
race a white shark and it
That
turned
was-
out to
yeah.
be a computerized, you know.
It was BS. I want to see Phelps jump in with a real shark, no extra flipper. But the whole thing is, so we my wife's favorite movie is Jaws, the original one, that sort of thing. So one year for Christmas, I got those Australian shark coins, those half-ounce silver coins, and I put them in everybody's stocking. So I got the great white, the hammerhead, and the tiger shark. So everybody got silver coins in their stocking, and they all loved them because we like sharks. When we were in Florida, my 16-year-old was looking for sharks everywhere, and I'm like, I can take you to the aquarium. He's like, that doesn't count. I mean, he was
chum the water, go to the beach and throw blood in the water, and you'll have sharks.
He's parasailing and he's looking over his shoulder, looking down, looking for sharks in the water, and I mean, he was
hoping to see one.
Yes, we saw. I think they were porpoises at the beach, and he was disappointed they weren't sharks and that sort of thing. So the fact that they had, like you were talking about, the animal coins. If somebody likes birds or horses or dogs or whatever it is, they've got different coins. But we got the Australian shark coins, and they went over real well. So you could do it like that, Dusty. I mean, if there's some sort of theme, if you're going somewhere special. After we went to Delicate Arch. Arches National Park in Utah, I got the 5-ounce silver coin. So they did the state quarters, and then after that they started doing the national parks. Well, they made silver coins, that are quarter size. I don't know how many ounces that is, and then they made. I know they made the 5-ounce coins, which are kind of big, and I had to wait for it. I had to do the whole notify me, but when it came back in stock, I bought the 5-ounce Arches National Park coin in silver and got that for my wife because she thought Delicate Arch was just so beautiful, and it was a fun hike all the way up there and stuff like that, and she just loved it. So if there's maybe some sort of anniversary or something you guys have done that, or just an animal that she likes or something,
or your first date, or
yeah, if you can find a coin with that theme, it makes a good gift, and it's worth something too.
And that's kind of learn, of course, I've had my wife for 30 years, so it's hard to come up with new ideas.
Well, even if you don't do a silver coin, like, where did you go on your first date? Where did you meet? Things like that. If you went to a special movie, or where did you propose? Things like that, bring that in some way, whatever it is.
You need a coin of somebody chasing a hog. Because that's what you were doing the day you got married.
Yes, I was.
I don't know of any pig coins, though. Squib, have you seen any coins with hogs on them?
No, but that would be a bad thing.
The preacher even said it in the ceremony. He says, "I think I smell hogs." I said, "Well, I know why."
Oh my goodness. See, that would be funny. Something like, even if it's just something, even if it's not a coin with a hog on it, you could find something with a hog on it and, just bring some humor into it.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't bought my wife flowers in years, and it's not that I don't want to do anything nice for her. It's just I got in that this thing of buying her lottery tickets instead, and she said I'd rather have those because if we win, then whatever. Whereas flowers just die. So if you don't buy flowers very often or whatnot, you could get her flowers just because. I mean, for really no reason other than just because it'll knock her socks off. But I don't know if she wants to quit working so hard for you. If she won the lottery because you got her some stack of tickets for a gift or something, I'm sure she would be happier than if she got flowers.
Yeah, well, my wife, if she won the lottery, I'd be the last thing she'd want. She'd be gone.
Oh, boo. That's what my husband always says. He says, he dies, I got a decent insurance policy on him. He says, yeah, all you'll do is just find you another man once I'm gone, and just after you go blow that money, insurance money.
Oh, I think she was counting her money a few months ago. But I tricked her and I survived, so.
You showed her. I'll show you, Eva. No.
Well, why not get her a pink AR-15?
I'll take, anybody got a pink AR-15 they want to send my way, I'll take that too. My granddaughter shot her first AR-15 the other day. She's 4.
Yeah, they're
problem I have, Squib. I bought her a Glock 43. I told her, you go take your class, and this can be your gun to carry. Class yet. I've already bought her the pistol, but she hasn't took the class yet.
Is it because you won't take it with her?
Oh, I've offered to do that also.
Okay, because that usually helps. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just we've been talking about it for years. I mean, I took it and then I let mine expire and I never renewed it or anything. And we've been talking.
I can't believe you did that. Every time you mention that just baffles me.
Dude, I put guns on the back burner when I was up to my eyeballs in debt after my second divorce. So in addition to leaving my guns locked in the safe for 10 years and not buying any, I let my CPL expire too. Yeah. But I want to say it's maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, my wife said that she wanted to get a concealed pistol license. And, I don't know. We've just been dragging on getting it. And really it's something that we should get. But, yeah, I'm not sure if that's ever going to happen. But getting back to the whole pink AR-15 thing, we did visit some relatives while we were in Florida, and you know how dudes are when they get together. Say, hey, come on over here and see my guns. So he cracks open this big gun safe, and half the guns in there were Muddy Girl pink. Well, it's because his wife shoots, his daughter shoots, his other daughter shoots, his granddaughter shoots. So all their guns were in there too. And he says, you pay more for that Muddy Girl camo, and sometimes they're hard to find. They're in demand and whatnot. But the girls they love those pink guns. He put pink hood grips on one of the revolvers, on the Airlight revolver and stuff like that. And because he's in a house full of women, that's what he's got in his safe. But they make good gifts.
Speaking of camo patterns, have you guys heard about that? The Department of Defense is in trouble because they spent like millions of dollars on that Afghan camo pattern that nobody likes or something. I mean, what is the deal with that?
You lost me.
Have you ever seen the ammo? Have you ever seen
I've never seen it either. So,
you ever seen the Afghan camo pattern? All right. This is You're Into Hunting. I did want to. Somebody on YouTube had a site I wanted to share with you of an interesting camo gear. I know it's made in America. Let me just dig it out real quick. Come on, I clicked on Firefox. Let's turn this off. Turn that off. Go to my prepper folder. Yeah. Gulch Gear. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
All right, I'm going to screen share this page. You can look at this camo pattern really quick. You might like it. Screen share. Here it is. Summer sale. Camo. Welcome to Gulch. Here's the pattern. They got face masks,
It looks like a mossy oak.
Kind of, but it's a little different. They're calling this, let's see. They're calling this cross cover. Cross cover brown, and they have a gray one too. So, I don't know. It looked interesting. Ultralight face mask. And they have, pants and stuff. So, Inceptor. All right. Well, I'm just wondering. It looks like it doesn't look exactly like Mossy Oak. It looks a little different.
It's similar, but it's close enough. It would work in our area.
Yeah.
Would blend into our woods. That's what they look like in the fall and early winter.
All right. Anyway, it's gulchgear.com if anybody's interested in camo. I just thought they have 20% off sale right now. So there's some pictures of it. Looks like it blends in pretty good to me just looking at them. Rapid adaptive deception through variegated coloration engineered to direct and deceive the eye. Here it is, like in context anyway.
Dusty, aren't deer colorblind anyhow?
All right, never mind. Somebody started talking about camo. So I was thinking about, what would be interesting, fun prepper project would be to, take all my cans of Spam or like some 20-pound bags of rice and paint them like, get some Krylon and, multicam camo them, paint the Spam and the rice bags. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Like a big wall of Spam cans, just camo paint them. Anyway, I'll stop screen sharing. Get back to
A big wall of camo, huh?
a big wall of Spam cans painted, or rice bags painted, camouflage.
Oh, interesting.
Well, those are the crazy video ideas I come up with. You always gotta come up with new video ideas.
Oily, why a side-by-side? Why not an over-under?
I don't know. I just don't know. Now we took our Rhino, which is fuel injected, up to the mountains, and it didn't do so hot. It don't like the altitude. Now we could get it fixed, where we could trade out the parts to where we could use it in the high altitude.
Spark plugs weren't doing the job, or
no? It's
probably the fuel. It's
probably the fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fuel injected; it's carbureted. So,
No. It's the octane rating of the fuel at higher altitude. It's
change the jets in the carburetor in order to make it run right.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, instead of doing that, luckily a friend of ours had taken his Ranger up there, and Polaris Ranger, and those are fuel injected, which are wonderful. So we drove that one around when ours wasn't working right. So thankfully he had it, and it just performed like a dream. So we sold our Rhino, paid that off, and now we're gonna go and get us a Ranger. We're gonna go look at a Ranger. Okay.
So when you were saying side by side in the chat, you didn't mean a side by side shotgun.
No.
You meant an ATV, because I was like, why would you get a side by side instead of over and unders? I think those are okay. Never mind.
I was like, and you're talking to somebody who doesn't know a lot about guns, so it just completely flew over my head.
Yeah. So like a coach gun, with double barrel side by side, as opposed to double barrel over under. Yeah.
I did watch Appaloosa the other night, and I really like that 8-gauge that Viggo Mortensen carries around. It's like fucking huge.
Gun channels.
Yeah. Well, you put my husband and I just got done discussing that side by side we're getting on Wednesday, and I'm like, oh, cool, they're getting another shotgun.
No, we have enough of those. We have several of those. No, but yeah, because we're planning on making this. We use the side by side here in ATV for lots of stuff. Like my husband has pretty heavy, because he welds and stuff. He has a lot of trash that ends up accumulating in the barn, and it's typically kind of heavy. And so, he recycles his large pieces of metal and stuff like that, but for the small pieces and.
What would be cool is I can't fit a car in that, cave, that lava tube, but I could fit like an ATV in there, and just like then it could be like the back. I would just come charging out of there on an ATV.
See, there you go.
There you go. Or you could just putter around like an old fart in a golf cart, you know, and
Yeah,
be quiet. Wouldn't echo.
Well, yeah, but you know, something with mud tires around the here, you know, it's like, I mean, people have. I've seen, you know, some of the guys have trucks with like skyjackers, and it's like their, you know, Toyota pickups with the things that, you know, it's like you need a ladder to get up to the cab, you know. They're so hot, but you need them in some of the places around here, especially, you know, if you can have enough clearance to get over like some of the lava rock, you know. One time I took my Blazer out on this trail in Kapoho to like over some lava rock, and I had to stop like every once in a while and like maneuver exactly, figure out I'm going to put this tire here and that tire there, because if you did it wrong, you just wind up stuck. Your car would just get stuck out in the middle of nowhere on a bottomed out on a you know, rock. Lava rock, and it probably would cost like $1,000 or $2,000 just to get a tow truck out there. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Hawaii Oilie's giving a recommendation that if you do get it fuel injected, that way you can take it up the side of the volcano as well as keep it underground.
There you go. There,
Yeah.
Go for higher elevations or lower elevations.
Yeah, I'm learning stuff all the time. Fuel injection, yes, get it supercharged.
There you go.
It'll also probably go faster.
And you can just add a nitrous system to
boost.
it. You can just push the boost whenever you're coming out the end of the cave there.
Probably.
And you need to be playing dun-it, you know, Batman song while you're at it.
And I have to have one of those signs that those stop, those, you know, danger signs that comes down that automatically, so I can drive over it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a must-have, you know.
Well,
every
if Bitcoin goes up to 500,000, you know, in a couple of years, I'll buy that place, the place with the cave, just so I can do that.
And you'll invite us to your home your welcome home party.
Oh yeah, the homecoming prepper party, the prepper pizza party, man. Stream it live on YouTube, and you know, we'll have like, you know, a hot tub in the cave and everything.
I was like, just say that. There you go.
And
you said it was
yeah,
only
cool.
300,000.
Oh, I said it was 400,000.
Oh, 400. Okay, that's still only a couple thousand a month.
Yeah, talk him down.
Yeah, really.
I'll just wait for the collapse or for Bitcoin to just take a moonshot, you know. So, you know, either if Bitcoin and silver and gold takes a moonshot, then, you know, I'll get someplace like that.
See, now that you're going to have a party, a prepper party for all of us, and it's going to be awesomeness.
Go fund it. Yeah, go fund me.
Well, no, I'm just going to be doing some heavy duty praying for you for Bitcoin to go up, or for you to win the lottery, one or the other.
Oh, there's no lottery in Hawaii. Hawaii outlawed gambling and anything else that's fun. So, except surfing.
Oh yeah, because they're blue, aren't they?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, speaking of blue problems in the state of Hawaii, you know, I think Ronald Reagan said if you don't like the problems that government has created, wait until you see their solutions. And so the government in Hawaii has decided to clean out the homeless encampment at the old airport park. There's like, you know, hundreds of homeless people camped at like the park on the beach. It used to be an airport for Kona's Airport a long time ago, but then they got a real spiffy one down at Keole. But the one like about a mile from my house they're going to clean all the homeless people out. And guess where they're all going to go? They're going to throw them out of the park. You know, they're going to close the park, and the police are going to throw them all out, you know, and drag away all their stuff, you know, into the trash. And but those homeless people aren't going to be made non-homeless. Guess where they're going to move?
Into your neighborhood.
Yeah, there's the other nearest homeless encampment site is behind Long Scruggs. There's a big lot behind Long Scruggs. Lots of brush, lots of cover, and it's also behind my condo.
Oh.
So guess where they're all moving? There's going to be like.
I think I'd start looking for a new condo.
I don't want another fucking condo. I want to get out of this one.
Can you imagine? You'd have to lug that safe all the way back down.
Yeah, no kidding.
No, I'm hiring. When I move, I'm hiring people to move.
You could hire the homeless people to move it for you.
I never see anything of my.
They'd work cheap. Just give them some of your beer.
Well, I've got one torpedo left.
Down for me.
So
tell them you pay them in Bitcoin.
They don't know. If they want to solve the problem, they should just give them all one Obama phone with some Bitcoin. Text them some Bitcoin, and then the problem would be solved. But
they can go get.
That's how UNICEF works. But
they can go get free Wi-Fi behind the dollar store.
There you go.
Check on their Bitcoin prices.
Oh man,
y'all gonna be Norton.
So just to clear it, so on last week's chat, I was drinking a Torpedo beer, and I later was actually reading about it. And Torpedo is how they process the hops. And Dusty was telling me it's basically they spin the hops to get the flavor, the flavor out of them by separating the acids or whatever it was out of the hops. So it's like a torpedo spinning process that they use to process the hops before they make the beer with it.
Oh, I thought maybe it was like you was running as fast as a torpedo shoots out because you having to get to the bathroom because it gives you the runs.
No, it's I bought it because I thought Squib was going to have some naval pictures to show, so I thought I was going by the store and they had this torpedo beer, so I thought I'd get a couple, and so not realizing what it was. Yeah, it was an extra IPA, but it was a big bottle, so I thought I got one left. If you ever get any naval pictures of the Texas, but or know any more submarine stuff.
I wasn't at the Texas.
Well, you said you were going, so I bought the beer because you said you were going to go. So I'm going to have to go buy more beer when you actually do go. Yeah, because I've only got one. Should I skip this last torpedo or save it?
Okay.
You're going to be heartbroken having to go buy more beer. Oh my goodness.
Can you see my screen sharing?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
There's a torpedo.
Torpedo.
That's a real torpedo there. Well, it's a display one, but I mean that's a Mark 14 torpedo on board the USS Drum, which is a Gato class that is in Mobile, Alabama, not Texas.
Well, yeah, I thought you said you're going to visit a battleship called the USS Texas.
No, the USS Alabama in Mobile.
Oh, okay. So can I drink my last beer now or what?
Yes, have a torpedo. I was looking at torpedoes. You were drinking torpedoes.
If they put a torpedo on the torpedo, it'd be a torpedo speedo.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. That sounds sexy and all, but so I have an actual submarine trivia
torpedo
question.
Tubes. Yeah, go ahead.
Why is to see if anybody gets this? Why did in the Revolutionary War they used the submarine? Why didn't the attack weapon it used work?
Repeat.
In the Revolutionary War, the U.S. used a submarine against a British ship, but the attack. Why didn't the attack work?
I have no idea.
See if anybody out there gets that one.
Okay, well that one didn't work, but this one did.
But that wasn't the question. Why did the attack of the submarine the U.S. had in the Revolutionary War work?
He's talking
there
about.
was
He's
a
talking
sub-
about the. No, it's called the Turtle. It's
Yeah.
made out of wood. They're supposed to bore a hole in the side of the enemy ship with this, it's almost like a corkscrew kind of thing. It's like a speed handle with a screw. It's their version of a drill back then.
in the Revolutionary War.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It was called the Turtle. It looked like a barrel. One guy sat in it. He pedaled a crankshaft that spun a propeller, and he had a speed handle in front of him, and on the outside was a corkscrew shaped drill, and he was supposed to ram into the side of the enemy ship and drill a hole in it so it would sink or something.
Yeah, and why didn't it work?
Yeah, I don't think he could penetrate the wood. I don't think he could get enough forward motion to hit it hard enough and then crank down and bore into it.
That wasn't it.
Well, then you suck.
I'm just asking the question. I know why. Just because you don't know the answer doesn't mean I suck. It just
Well,
means
they had a replica in Mobile of the H.L. Hunley, which was successfully used by the Confederates
yeah, but that was a lot
during the
later.
Civil War. It was the first time a sub
talking-
was ever used successfully in combat. The reason they have a replica in Mobile is because that's where it was designed. Even though it was used in Charleston in combat, they designed it in Mobile, Alabama, because they got a rich naval history down there.
Right. Well, okay. So I'm gonna look. I don't think anybody's.
Okay, the
got
reason
this
the
yet.
turtle didn't work is because they didn't use it in Mobile or Charleston.
No.
John C. Project.
The reason the turtle's weapon didn't work is because the British warships weren't just made out of wood. They had a copper lining.
Well, if you were reading
They
the
had-
text, Biker Bob already said that.
Yep.
Oh, he did?
He
Lots
did.
of copper covered
did.
holes.
The reason he knew is
Yep.
because he
Yeah.
remembers. So
Biker Bob for the win. Biker Bob gets the win.
Ding 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 ding. And what is his prize?
I don't have any prizes right now.
Where is Bob? Why isn't he in here?
You can keep that whatever. You can keep that Hawaii Volcano Squad patch, that bootleg patch that G-Web's made for my channel.
All right. Since we're doing questions,
Wah, wah, wah.
Web,
well, okay.
where was the fire in 1973 that wiped out a lot of military records? I've been doing some searches and on my dad, and I keep coming back to a fire in 1973 records.
Wow. So they keep records in the Pentagon. They keep records in Kansas City. I don't. I'm trying to think of any situation where a bunch of ordnance caught on fire, because I did have to study that on 2 occasions when I was in the military, because we looked at old accidents so that we would learn not to make the same mistakes our predecessors made. But I can't think of any fire in '73 that maybe blew up a bunch of ordnance or whatnot, and which it could have caused a fire to spread. Yeah, I would, if it wasn't DC or maybe some annex in Northern Virginia, then I would think Kansas City, because that's where all the payroll comes out of.
Okay, what was the question again? Just state the question one more time, please.
Where was the fire that wiped out a lot of our military records in 1973?
West Point? I mean...
No, they're not going to store military records there.
The Pentagon?
The dumpster behind the Pentagon.
Library of Congress.
Oh, you're pretty close. Okay. Yeah, the National Archives, huh?
Library of Congress. That's what my guess would be. But I don't know. That's where I send all my copyright stuff when I copyright stuff.
Overland, Missouri.
Well, but the National the Library of Congress has locations all over America, though. It's not just in Washington.
How far is Overland from Kansas City? St. Louis County, so it's on the other end. Yeah, so it wasn't even near the payroll stuff.
Area 51.
Yeah, 51. The aliens destroyed our records.
Yeah, using their alien laser beams that shot off.
It was in Missouri.
Well, you know, I did it. We did a chat on how to fight off an alien invasion. I remember that one. Go after the atmosphere processors.
No, they would leave the country, or they would leave the planet if we offered to pay them off in Bitcoin.
No. We talked about how to find military records. Started searching for my dad's military records, and I keep coming up that they were lost in this fire.
Yeah, but I can't believe this is the only copy of them. See, let's see. Also destroyed security vault, which high-profile notable records. The exact number of Navy and Marine Corps records destroyed in the fire is unknown.
My mom did when she was researching for her book, Lost and Found, she wanted to find my grandfather's any records or paperwork for my grandfather's service for the Polish Second Corps. So she just paid somebody in Warsaw to do, search the archives for his name, and they found like his medical discharge papers, a list of everything he checked into the military hospital with, all his belongings, which wasn't much, and when he had malaria and white phosphorus burns to his face, and so she basically paid somebody to search through for this stuff, and she got a letter from the Polish army that verified that he was he didn't get any benefits or anything, but after he mustered out, that was it, gotta thank you. But they did, she just sent them like $100 and they found all the records she wanted.
Oh, Rupan typed in here in the live chat, 16 to 18 million records lost. No duplicate copies of these records were ever maintained, nor were microfilm copies produced. Neither were any indexes created prior to the fire. In addition, millions of documents had been lent to the Department of Veteran Affairs before the fire occurred. Therefore, a complete listing of the records that were lost is not available. So they don't even know which ones were lost, let alone can recreate them. So even
and that's in 1976, you said?
73. So even if there were payroll records in Kansas City, all they're going to say is when he joined, when he got out, and what rank he was at what time, and that sort of thing. It won't show his awards, or it might show combat pay, but it won't necessarily say what theater he was in or whatever. So even trying to backtrack it through payroll probably wouldn't help. Huh. I didn't know about this fire.
Yeah, well, I guess they had. It was easier to find World War II records in Poland than it is to find your dad's record in America. So,
well, we talked about this months back, and I started messing with it, and then I keep coming up to this dead end. Which I don't know how many months back was it when we had this conversation about.
Well, what you could try and do what my mom did, but is find a records for a person that just searches, like a librarian or somebody that searches records, and if there is some microfilm, just I'll give them like $100 to find it, anything on your, and give them the name and whatever records you do have, and see if they can find anything, and if you just pay somebody who does that professionally. That's what she did.
Well, and I've also talked to my dad's sister, but she's 80 years old, but she promised me she would send me everything that she had. So I'm going to get some documentation, but I really would like to put a story together.
Does she have a copy of his service record book or anything?
She was going to look. As of yet, I can't answer that, but she was going to look for it.
When you get enough information together, just hire somebody to search the microfilms and search through the records that does that kind of thing.
Yeah, but there were no, Rupan put in there were no microfilm copies created of these records and stored somewhere else. So.
Yeah, and I'd never heard that. So that's kind of interesting. I'm glad he posted that.
Yeah, but you don't know which dates from when to when, do you? I mean...
And you don't know if his was some of the records that was sent somewhere else, because there's no way to get a complete listing of the ones that were lost.
Yeah, but if you pay somebody $100 to search for the name of your relative, then you'll know who does that professionally. Then you'll either get a yes or a no whether there is or is not any of those records anywhere. You know that like a librarian would search. You know, just ask a librarian. You know, of Congress. You know, you're looking for records on this person from this date who served from here to here. You know, and I know there was a fire, but is there anything, you know, and you'll pay somebody to search and they'll refer you to somebody who does that.
If she has his discharge papers or his service record book or anything certificate from any schools that he's graduated, you know, military training, you know, whether it be anything from basic all the way to like a trade school or whatnot, or has any of his medals, awards, those are things you could do on your own to reconstruct it. But if the records are burned, yeah, I suppose if you paid somebody to look just to verify if the records exist or not, and then they're probably going to want more money if the records do exist for you to.
No, they each set a fee. Here, just look for this name of this person, and then here's a couple $100, you know, whether you find them or not. And they'll do it, you know. I mean, if they do that.
What if he pays that and then they just say, "Oh, it's showing that the records have been destroyed"?
Well, then you'll know that they couldn't find anything. So you'll have an answer one way or the other instead of just not doing anything or not knowing.
Well, what if that's as far as they go and that's it? They don't really continue to look after that.
Well, they could have just taken my mom's money and said, "Well, we can't find anything that's that," you know. But they didn't. They kept looking until they found something. And I did a video. I think it's my AK ammo score video. I think I can screen share some pictures if I could find the damn folder I put it in. Besides just referring you to my video. But this was in Poland, not in St. Louis or whatever. But there were plenty of fires in Poland, I promise you, during World War II. Let's see. Thing. It's not in that folder. I bet it would be in just the general folder here. Let's see.
Yeah, John, I think I need to go into the finding the records business.
Yeah, well, it's librarian, you know, that's like a science, library science, you know, find a library science person.
Oh yeah. Now John was saying $100 to find if the records exist, $1,000 to find out what they are, $10,000 to get the actual records. LOL.
Well, it wasn't like that in Poland, you know, but you know.
He's just joking.
I think she contacted the embassy, you know, and they referred her to somebody. She contacted the Polish embassy in Los Angeles, and they referred her to somebody who could do the job. You know, that's literally what she did.
Well, it would be genealogy, a lot like the genealogy thing.
Yeah, that's what my mom's into.
All of those, yeah.
She is so into genealogy, it just, you know, puts me to sleep. But
I think it'd be interesting to kind of see your history. Like, see who you're related to. It'd probably be scary. As crazy as I am, I can only imagine who my...
Well, some of my family history is interesting and inspiring, and some of it is just, you know...
mind-numbingly boring?
No, mind-numbingly, ridiculously... well, let's just say my uncle made some bad decisions on his first wife and leave it at that.
All right, now I'm curious. You're going to have to tell us after the chat's over.
We all made bad decisions on our first wives.
Not as bad as my uncle's, man. Anyway, but
I made a bad decision on my first wife.
I'm going to screen share this picture of my grandfather really quick. Grandfather Abraham, the real hero in our family. Here he is. Abraham Borczyk. Abraham Borczyk. Yeah, he was a sapper in the 2nd Polish Corps. and he blew up tanks, blew up tank traps, built bridges, blew up bridges, and he killed lots of Nazis. And he only joined because basically he was a refugee, fled Poland, and the whole family was working in a concrete factory. And it wasn't that it was a death camp; it was a concrete factory. Just the conditions were so poor that everybody died, without exception. So he volunteered when they formed the Second Polish Corps of refugees to fight the Nazis, and he volunteered because they got fed, and so that's, he never wanted to be a soldier, but if he
sometimes
joined, he would have died. So, but this is him, I think, when he was in Europe. Waiting. My family waited for 5 years for a visa to immigrate to America, and they waited in Belgium, which I think I had mentioned before, that my grandmother had dropped off her firstborn daughter in Belgium, went back to Poland, and the whole family got caught. Except for her first daughter, everybody else got caught up. The invasion happened when Hitler invaded Poland, and they became refugees, and so they went to find her daughter in Belgium, and that's a whole nother story. But anyway, that's my grandfather Abraham. He was the hero, and then after the war, after he mustered out after the hospital, then he went back, and they said, "Well, your family must be dead by now, if they're still in because you left them in the concrete factory, and because they didn't take women and children into the army, they just took." Men to fight. So he went back to try and find them. He said, well, maybe they are dead, but I'm going to either find them or their graves. And so he traded what little pay he had for a bunch of Swiss lighters. And he traded those lighters for, food and lodging on the way back, and because back then he was, right after World War II, anybody who had fought the Nazis, were like heroes. So he was basically, when he did get back to Osh-Kyrgyzstan, they were like really nice to him because, he fought the Nazis, and everybody was basically, it was right after the war. So he was basically like a war hero, in Russia, I mean, so they gave him, and he found my grandmother and my uncle and my mom. Which was a miracle. And then he, because he was a veteran, they gave him, before the war, he was a metal worker. So they gave him, so he invented this, a goat milk, a container for goat milk that became like the standard goat milk container that every farmer that had a goat to milk, used, because it was a standard measurement. And so they gave him in the city square in Osh, they gave him a free at the town market, a free space where he could sell these goat milk containers that he made out of metal, and that's how they got enough money to get to Belgium. And then they waited to apply for a permit. I think my uncle went to a special school that was set up for Jewish kids there to learn, little college, or I don't know, school for refugees. Because right after World War II, everybody was a refugee, which is why in part why Europe has the problem that they have right now, is because after World War II, every half of the people in Europe, more than half, were all refugees. So they naturally have an affinity for refugees. The difference being that after World War II, all the refugees were actually Europeans. They weren't like people from Syria or Morocco that had nothing in common and weren't Europeans. So, but they have this affinity for refugees because everybody has somebody in their family that was a refugee, or they know somebody that was a refugee. And but that's why they let all these, people in. Then now they have these enclaves that are just like, Islamists, because they just are naturally, understanding of refugees. But these are people that were not European and could not assimilate at all. I mean, assimilating from Romania to Germany, or Germany to France, that's, difficult, but it's not impossible, but, going from, it's like I would do terrible if I had to immigrate to sub-Saharan Africa. You know, I mean, I could just tell you that. But we found some other records. You know, I don't know if I could find all of them, but anyway, that was just one of the records that we found.
That's neat. I love that.
Let's see.
Well, Dusty, maybe you should use this service.
It's possible. Like I said, I talked to my dad's sister but this was back while I was in the hospital. But I talked with her quite a bit. And of course, she's 80 years old also, but she said she was trying to put stuff together for me, and I don't have it yet. So I'm kind of, you know, at that age, they don't move real fast, so I'm giving her time. So.
Well, does she live nearby?
She's in Ohio. She's about 100 miles away. She lives where I grew up and where my family came from.
Well, see, if you went to go visit her, you could just always ask her, hey, is this stuff in a box somewhere? And she says, well, yeah, it's in the closet back here. Then, you know, she'll of course want to drag it out and show it to you. And at that point, you can go through the box yourself and look.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, my grandpa's stuff was kept.
She also told me that cousins, which I have a cousin that would be about the same age as me, write up a family history because we have no family book or family history book. I'm assuming a lot of that stuff may be there.
Okay. I mean, there's usually somebody in every family who likes to do genealogy. You know, my mother-in-law likes to do that. My aunt likes to do that. So that's, you know, or just keep stuff in an old family Bible or something. But I remember my grandfather's military records from World War II were in a box in the walk-in closet in the back. So they're probably still sitting there.
One of the neat things my husband inherited from his grandfather, and he's got to go get it, but he had a huge shadow box with his medals and everything in it from military, and so it's like displayed. So he's got to go get that. I thought that was pretty neat. He was supposed to inherit one of his service weapons as well, but whoever was the executor on that will, those guns disappeared.
Okay, so this particular record they found in the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum database was of my mother's uncle, Herschel, who I never knew. So you never know what they can find. I mean, I don't even understand what this says. It's in...
You could type that in, though, and be able to...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what this... It's in a different language, so, you know, it's in...
Looks like Russian.
Russian or Polish, I don't know which one. It looks Russian. Yeah, it looks Russian. Unless Uzbeki is a different language, you know, it's in Uzbekistan. So there were refugees scattered all over, you know, different parts of the Soviet Union after, you know, because everybody just fled, you know, Poland after the Nazis invaded. So, you know, but when you do a record search, you'll be surprised what kind of stuff they can find. You know, if they just do, you know, if you hire a library science person for, you know, pay him for half a day or something. You know, there might be records, you know, in places that you never thought about, you know, that they can find. Anyway. Oh, I've got some other stuff, but basically my download folder is a monster and just I did anything. Let's see. The download folder from hell. Jeez. Plus all the pro Second Amendment memes I downloaded off the gun channels. It's just crazy. Trying to find our family records in here. Go, it just here's some of them. This is, I think, some stuff. Let me screen share this one too. Let's see. I don't think these are records that were found. These are just records that my family had. Let's see. Personal Ausweis. So that's an Ausweis, British zone in Berlin. Basically, after the war, they said they asked when they got back, the family got back to Poland after they left Russia. They asked them, okay, are you returning refugees from displaced persons, is what they call them, that you wind up in a displaced persons camp. Are you from Poland, or are you Jewish refugees from Poland, or Jewish refugees from Germany? They said Germany because if they went back and tried to reclaim their property, they would be shot by whoever had their property. So that's how they wound up in Berlin, in the British zone, is because they said, oh, we're Jewish refugees from Germany, so and then from there they could sneak into Belgium where they had left their first daughter, and anyway, so there's just some various stuff, and that was, let's see, what card was this? This is to certify that Abraham Borchak has admitted. Is that his immigration card? His green card? Abraham Borchak was admitted to the United States on month 4, 1952. So they had to wait after World War II to 1952. Yeah, 3. Basically, they showed up in Staten Island with not very much. And so that's his green card. That's amazing. So March, April 10th, 1952, as a NP. What's an NP? Naturalized person, I guess. Immigrant, as the NP quota immigrant under 6A3 of the Immigration Act of 1924, and has been registered under the Alien Registration Act of 1940. Commissioner of Immigration. And so it's just interesting what you find when you start, going through your family stuff.
Oh yeah, I ought to do that for my husband. Look up stuff like that for his grandfather who fought in World War II. So. Yeah.
So personally, it's like I know who my grandfather was. I know who I am. I don't feel like I need to, meet every relative that, may exist, or most of who died, during World War II anyway. So, but people feel differently about that kind of thing. I won't go into this stuff on the air about my uncle's first wife. But anyway, I think he's on wife number 5 right now, and it seems to be working, so it's okay.
Boy, I hope so.
Anyway, so is there anything else anybody wants to say? Like any ideas for topics for next week or anything? Just roll it all into another lock and load.
I can cook up another sub show.
You can cook up another sub show. That'll give me something to save the torpedo for. Just one picture of a torpedo didn't seem to be enough, So yeah, let's do subs next week, man.
Show of hands. Who wants to go over the USS Drum?
There we go. My hand's up.
There's my hand.
Okay.
And John Z, I'll work on that testosterone to get the stash going, the Magnum PI stash going.
John Z's going to get into the PI, private investigator business, but we want him to look like Magnum.
Oh, Magnum. Tom Selleck has that. He has his own line of Paradise Found Hawaii shirts.
Oh shit! You shouldn't have said that, man.
Oh.
Why?
You need to grow the stash.
I won't be going to the $3 rack at the store for my Hawaiian shirt anymore.
Yeah, just you can Google the internet for Paradise Found. That's a Tom Selleck's brand, and he could buy all the shirts that he wore in the TV show. That red shirt that he wore, you can buy that one. I mean, they're expensive, but they're good shirts. Personally, I mostly just buy Tommy Bahama shirts, and they have quite a few nice Hawaiian kind shirts. And but Paradise Found is Tom Selleck's brand, and that's where all the Magnum PI shirts that he wore.
$59 free shipping, Amazon. Add to.
There you go. Done deal. See, you got it done before I even close out the show.
Cart. Dang.
We'll hope it fits you, though. You make sure you got a good size or whatever size you need. So, but anyway, so we're gonna close this one out. Let me just check the last comments real quick before we do. If there's anything else that we have to respond to.
Not that I'm seeing. Thursday at 8 is the live chat, and this week we're discussing 8 Central. Sorry, this week we're discussing trauma kits.
Trauma kits, okay, on the Oily Preppers, Oily's Humble Home on YouTube. And so check that out on Thursdays. And thanks everybody for coming by. I really appreciate the support. And God bless the United States of America. Keep her safe.
Bye.